There are people who can walk into a room without ever raising their voice, without ever saying something cruel, and yet somehow the entire atmosphere shifts. You feel it before you even put it into words. It's like a heaviness settles over your chest, a weight you can't explain. These are the quiet ways harmful people operate. They drain your energy without having to say a single word. Think about it. You leave some conversations feeling lighter, inspired, more alive. That's because healthy people exchange energy with you. They listen, they respond with warmth, they celebrate your presence. But with harmful people, you walk away feeling tired, discouraged, or even guilty for reasons you can't pinpoint. That is not an accident. That is the effect of being around someone who takes more than they give. It often begins subtly. Maybe they don't look at you when you talk. Maybe they give off an air of disapproval, like everything about you is slightly too much. Or maybe they just sit in silence that doesn't feel like peace, but like judgment. The truth is, words are not the only way to communicate harm. Posture, size, silence, or even the absence of genuine presence can strip you of energy. What makes this sign so dangerous is that it's easy to dismiss. We say to ourselves, maybe I'm overreacting, maybe I'm just tired, maybe it's me, but your body doesn't lie. Your spirit doesn't lie. If you consistently walk away from someone feeling smaller, weaker, or less alive, that's a sign worth paying attention to. And here's the painful truth. When you are near a truly harmful person, your energy becomes their fuel. They may not consciously admit it, but they thrive on your self-doubt, on your hesitation, on the way you shrink so they can feel bigger. It's like a quiet transaction you never agreed to, your vitality for their power. But you are not powerless. The first step is awareness, naming what's happening. The second is courage, choosing to set limits, to protect your energy, and to walk away when necessary. Because your energy is sacred. It's the core of who you are, and no one has the right to deplete it simply by showing up in your space. So pay attention to how you feel when someone leaves the room. Do you breathe easier? Do you feel relief? Or do you feel nourished and full? That answer will tell you everything you need to know. One of the quietest but most damaging signs of a harmful person is the way they treat what's important to you as though it's nothing. They don't always outright insult you. In fact, that would be easier to recognize and defend yourself against. Instead, they dismiss, diminish, or downplay the things you hold close to your heart. Maybe you share a new idea you're excited about, and they respond with a flat, "That's nice." Maybe you finally accomplished something you worked hard for, and instead of celebrating you, they point out how small or insignificant it is compared to what others have done. Or maybe you open up about your struggles, your dreams, your pain, and they roll their eyes, sigh, or act like you're being dramatic. The harm here is not loud, it's subtle. It's the shrug, the smirk, the quick change of subject. It's the absence of genuine acknowledgement. And over time, that subtle dismissal starts to rewrite your inner dialogue. You start to wonder, maybe my dreams aren't that big. Maybe my struggles aren't valid. Maybe my voice doesn't matter. That's the danger. When someone minimizes you, you begin to minimize yourself. It's important to understand that people who do this are not neutral. Minimization is a form of control. By making what matters to you feel small, they keep you from expanding, from feeling proud, from trusting your own worth. They lower your ceiling so you won't grow higher than their comfort level. It's a quiet way of keeping you contained. And here's what makes it even more destructive. They often disguise it as jokes or advice. They'll say things like, "Oh, that's cute, but don't get your hopes up," or "That's nothing, wait until you've done something real." On the surface, it doesn't sound cruel, but the effect is the same. You walk away questioning the value of what matters most to you. When someone truly cares about you, they don't have to fully understand your dream or share your passion to respect it. They will honor it simply because it's yours. They will see the joy in your eyes, the meaning in your words, and they will support it because they value you. That's the difference. So here's the truth you need to hold on to. Your milestones, no matter how small, are sacred. Your dreams, no matter how fragile, are valid. Your struggles, no matter how invisible to others, are real. If someone consistently dismisses those things, it's not because they lack importance. It's because that person lacks the capacity or the willingness to treat you with the respect you deserve. Protect your passions. Protect your joy. Protect your right to celebrate your own victories, even if no one else claps. Never let someone's dismissal rewrite the value of your story, because what matters to you is enough. It always has been. Silence can be one of the most powerful tools of connection or one of the most destructive weapons. In healthy relationships, silence feels safe. It feels like presence. You can sit with someone without needing to fill the space, and their quietness wraps around you like comfort. But when you're near a truly harmful person, silence feels different. It feels sharp. It feels cold. It feels like a wall deliberately built to keep you out. Harmful people often use silence not as a pause for peace, but as a method of control. They withhold words, affection, or acknowledgement in order to punish you. This is sometimes called the silent treatment, but it's far more than just being quiet. It's a calculated withdrawal meant to make you feel invisible, unworthy, and desperate for their attention again. You'll notice it in small ways at first. You bring up something important and they don't respond. You share your feelings, and instead of leaning in, they look away or let silence hang heavy in the room. You send a message and they deliberately delay their reply, not because they're busy, but because they want you to feel the sting of being ignored. Silence becomes their way of saying, "You don't matter enough to be acknowledged." The painful part is what this silence does inside you. When someone repeatedly withholds response, you start to fill in the blanks yourself. You think, did I do something wrong? Am I not worth their time? Should I have stayed quiet? And in that way, their silence becomes a loud narrative in your own mind. It convinces you to doubt yourself, to question your worth, to carry guilt that was never yours to hold. This is why their silence is so dangerous. It doesn't just leave you without answers, it plants seeds of self-doubt. And over time, you may even begin to silence yourself before they can. You stop bringing up your needs. You stop expressing your feelings. You stop asking for what you deserve because you've learned that silence will meet you on the other end. That's how harm works. It doesn't just control the moment, it reshapes your behavior. But let's be clear, silence itself is not the enemy. There is silence that heals, silence that listens, silence that honors presence. The difference is in how it feels. Healthy silence feels like safety. Harmful silence feels like punishment. And your body knows the difference. If you find yourself shrinking, questioning, or apologizing just to end someone else's silence, that is not peace, it's manipulation. And you deserve better than to live in a space where words are withheld like weapons. Your voice matters, your feelings matter. And if someone's silence consistently makes you feel less than, then the message is loud and clear. Their silence is not about you being unworthy. It's about them choosing control over connection. One of the clearest and most exhausting signs that you're near a harmful person is the constant tension in your body. You start to notice that before you speak. You rehearse your words in your mind. You measure your tone. You carefully choose your timing. You tell yourself, don't upset them, don't trigger them. Don't say too much. This isn't thoughtfulness, it's survival. It's what happens when someone has created an environment where you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. The truth is, your body always tells the story before your mind admits it. When you're around a person who is safe, your shoulders drop, your breath flows naturally, and you feel at ease. But when you're near someone harmful, your body stiffens. You brace for impact even when nothing has happened yet. That's your nervous system warning you this space is not safe. And here's the heartbreaking part. Walking on eggshells becomes a habit. At first, it's just with them. You avoid saying certain things to keep the peace. You downplay your feelings so you don't get mocked. You swallow your truth so you don't spark their anger or indifference. But slowly, that habit leaks into other areas of your life. You start second-guessing yourself everywhere. You hesitate to be authentic, even with people who love you. And you forget what it feels like to just be without fear of backlash. This is one of the most damaging effects of being near a truly harmful person. They don't just control moments, they shape how you show up in the world. They make you shrink, dim, and censor yourself until you barely recognize your own voice. And all of this happens quietly. There may be no shouting, no obvious abuse, but the harm is written in the way you're always calculating, always anticipating, always managing their emotions instead of honoring your own. It's easy to excuse this behavior by saying, that's just how they are. I don't want to upset them. It's better to keep things smooth. But here's the truth. If being yourself feels unsafe, then that relationship is not healthy. Love does not demand constant self-editing. Friendship does not require you to suppress your truth. Safety should not mean silence. Healthy relationships give you space to breathe, to make mistakes, to speak freely without fear of punishment. Harmful ones force you into a performance, careful, cautious, controlled. And walking on eggshells isn't love, it's bondage. If you recognize this feeling in your life, pause and listen to your body. That constant tension is not weakness, it's wisdom. It's your inner compass trying to guide you out of harm, because you were never meant to live in fear of breaking eggs with every step. You were meant to stand firm, walk freely, and speak boldly in spaces where you are valued. One of the most confusing and dangerous signs of a truly harmful person is their inconsistency. They don't wear just one face, they wear many to the outside world. They might look kind, charming, or even admirable. But behind closed doors, when the audience is gone, they reveal another version of themselves, cold, dismissive, or even cruel. This split leaves you questioning reality, wondering which version is the real one. In public, they can be the life of the room. They smile, they laugh, they appear supportive, and others sing their praises. People might even tell you, you're so lucky to have them in your life. And yet, privately, you feel the weight of their indifference, their criticism, or their emotional withdrawal. That gap between public charm and private harm is not only confusing, it's disorienting. The danger here lies in what it does to your perception of yourself. When someone is so convincing in public, you start to wonder if the problem is really you. You ask yourself, if everyone else sees them as wonderful, maybe I'm the one who's too sensitive. Maybe I'm imagining things. Maybe it's me. That's exactly how harmful people maintain control, by creating a reality that looks polished from the outside, but feels toxic on the inside. This two-face behavior is a form of gaslighting without even needing words. The inconsistency keeps you off balance. One day they're warm, attentive, and kind. You feel seen, even cherished. The next day, they're distant, critical, or cold, and you're left scrambling, trying to figure out what you did wrong. The cycle becomes addictive. You cling to the good moments, hoping they'll last, while excusing the bad ones because you've tasted their better side. But here's the truth. Who someone is in private is who they really are. Anyone can perform kindness for a crowd. Anyone can play the role of the supportive friend, the loving partner, the helpful colleague. But the version of them you see when no one else is around, that's their truest self. If that private version leaves you feeling diminished, unsafe, or unloved, you have to believe that experience, no matter what others see, Consistency is one of the clearest marks of healthy relationships. You shouldn't have to wonder which version of someone you'll get today. Love doesn't switch masks. Respect doesn't play roles. Genuine care shows up the same in public and in private. So when you notice that someone shows two very different faces, one for the world and one for you, don't dismiss it. That inconsistency is not your imagination. It's a quiet but undeniable sign that you're dealing with a harmful person. And the most dangerous mask is always the one they save for when no one else is watching. Perhaps the quietest yet most devastating sign of being near a harmful person is the way your own inner voice begins to fade. At first, you notice it in small moments. You swallow your opinions, you hold back your feelings, you tell yourself, it's not worth it to say anything. Over time, that hesitation turns into silence, and you realize you're no longer speaking from your authentic self. That's not an accident. That is the invisible weight of harm. A truly harmful person doesn't always need to shout you down. They don't always need to argue with your every word. Sometimes all they have to do is create an atmosphere where your truth no longer feels welcome. Maybe it's the way they roll their eyes when you speak. Maybe it's the way they ignore your suggestions. Maybe it's the way they dismiss your emotions as overreacting. Slowly, you begin to believe that your voice carries no value. And when your voice begins to disappear externally, it begins to disappear internally too. You stop trusting your own instincts. You second guess your choices. You doubt the whispers of your gut that once guided you. You feel torn between what you sense deep inside and the way they've trained you to question it. That's how harm spreads. It doesn't just silence your mouth, it silences your spirit. This is one of the most heartbreaking forms of manipulation because it steals something sacred, your connection to yourself. When you can no longer hear your own truth clearly, you become dependent on their version of reality. You start leaning on their opinions to make decisions, their moods to measure your worth, their approval to feel secure. And once you lose touch with your own inner voice, it's easier for them to shape you into who they want you to be instead of who you really are.